Okay, start again. Let's call the meeting to order at 6:31. 6:30.
Oh, okay. Well, we're right in the middle.
6:30 is perfect.
We have Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Valadez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Young.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum of 4. And we have Vice Chair, Couture, who will be here momentarily.
And she's en route. Okay, so shall we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? Is there anyone who would like to lead the Pledge of Allegiance? Commissioner Young, would you like to lead it?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic. Justice.
So it's out of the way. Okay, somebody get.
Is possible to do that in Casey, or do you think we'll?
This TV?
Yeah.
Sure.
So now we're going to turn to public comments on items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here who has a comment on an item not on the agenda?
Good.
Mr. Schneider, I think that's you.
Yeah, we do have one. I'm sorry, I was adjusting the Zoom, Zoom TV. Okay, I have Tom.
Thank you. You start, I just want to clarify, you probably already know this, you're on the commission, but we can't take any action or discuss your comments, but we definitely appreciate the feedback and we'll welcome it and take it into consideration. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tom Schneider. I'm here as a resident of Los Altos and as a pickleball enthusiast.
Could you speak up?
Oh, I have a soft voice.
Sorry.
So my name is Tom Schneider. And for transparency, I am a member of the city's Complete Streets Commission, but I'm here for the Parks and Rec pickleball enthusiast. So, well, I guess some people, Manny, have been meeting with you anyway. And in addition to that, there's, I just want to emphasize that we'd like to get the McKinsey courts out of the pilot program and move on to a permanent transition to a permanent set of courts where you have permanent nets, lighting improvements, court dividers, also add competitive courts. I know that right now it's all public, but competitive courts are one thing that most people want. I know some people don't. And they've been talking to Manny about that. But most people want the competitive courts. Half of them over at Cupertino are competitive courts. Lots of other places have them. And that wouldn't take much money to do that change. But also transparency, I'm also a paying member of the Los Altos Seniors Pickleball Club over at Evening Indoors. Also, Mountain View Pickleball Club member and Palo Alto Pickleball Club member. But anyway, just wanted to put forward that, we'd like to have the pilot program move forward and on to permanent pickleball courts as opposed to just tennis courts only. Anyway, thank you for your time.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
My name is Janine Valadez. Question, you mentioned regular courts or the courts as is and then competitive courts. Can you highlight very briefly what is the difference between a non-competitive court and a competitive court?
Sure.
Is it mostly surface?
No, it's the level of play count.
Oh,
So you have this is extreme, you have pros versus beginners. It's really not a pro, but more advanced people. And so what you have is that if you play against somebody that's much better than you, it's not very much fun if you get really beat on badly.
right.
And it's not very fun for the other people that are very good and gain skill very quickly, because usually there's several paddles down, if you will, for the next game. So if the game goes like for 5 minutes, you don't get much
Sure.
playing time.
So you're basically talking about a programmatic thing, not the actual structure of the court.
Correct.
Got it. I got it.
We,
Thank you.
we had a sign up there before, but somebody complained and then somebody took it down. I don't know who it was, but somebody from the city was, I was told.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Okay.
Any other clarifying questions?
I
Commissioner
have,
Morris?
yes, I have one.
Okay.
So right now it's a shared court with tennis and pickleball and the
Right.
nets get changed according to what's being played.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what are you very specifically asking for? Are you asking for it not to be tennis anymore at all? And
Correct.
to have permanent pickleball all the time? And then in addition to have it be competitive so that
Right.
there isn't a beginner's aspect to it? Is that correct?
No,
Yeah.
let's vote.
Lynn?
Right now, it was created as 2 tennis courts.
Yes.
And so pickleball courts are a little bit smaller, so they put in 6 courts overlaying the top
Yes.
of the 2 of them. Right now, you use the permanent nets of tennis as a divider between 3 of the courts and the other 3 courts.
Okay.
What we want to do is we have, for the pickleball courts, we have temporary nets up that the city paid for, which is great,
Mhm.
as part of the pilot program. And we also some dividers between the courts, so, kids ball. and
Right.
courts. At any rate, if we change out those temporary nets to permanent ones, they don't do better because they get a little bit fuzzy.
Mhm.
And it's just better for playing if it's permanent. What we've done is we've taken some surveys, and I think some of this stuff has been presented to Manny. That we end up having, trying to figure out how many people are playing pickleball, how many people are playing tennis, and the tennis players. Typically, there's not many people playing tennis on tennis, because it's every other day. So there's plenty of other courts in town and around.
No, I totally understand that.
Okay.
I've been in kind of, in touch with this. My question specifically is, are you wanting it to not be for beginners?
No,
Is it
we want,
only
no, we
for-
want, no, we want.
Okay,
we
okay,
want-
that's what I needed to
And-
understand.
And the idea of competitive would just be that it would be shared, so if there's nobody that's competitive. we wouldn't play any-
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Really, thank you, Commissioner Morris. Thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate your time.
We really appreciate the feedback and letting us know that there are surveys out there. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
All right, so I will move on to the next agenda item, which is the minutes from the meeting. Is that right? Approve the minutes from November 18th, 2024. Does anyone have any comments? Corrections?
I had no comments on the corrections.
All right, so if there are no comments or corrections, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes on November 18th,
Thank you.
2024.
Thank you, Vice Chair Couture. Second. Okay.
Commissioner Morris? Yes. Chair Corrigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Valdez?
Yeah.
Commissioner Young?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I have it written in a different order.
Yeah.
Commissioner Couture
Yes.
and Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is revisit and update the 2025 work plan. Director Hernandez, did you want to?
Sure, I'll say a few words on it. So the January 28th, council had a meeting and looked over some concerns that they had with the Parks and Arts Commission and as well as with their previous work plan. Going forward at that meeting, they would like this commission to provide better direction on the 2025 work plan. Succinct to some of the concerns that they had attached in your packet is a draft of the work plan that 2 of the commissioners have in this commission have already looked at. And they decided that this will be the draft that we will start with here. And also attached to in your packet is the list of concerns that I had summarized that council had at that 28th meeting. So at this point, I think you can step into one item at a time probably, and it'll be up to the chair.
We also have one public speaker on this item.
Okay, so, should I proceed with clarifying questions before we go to the public speaker?
Sure.
Okay, any clarifying questions?
I have questions.
Do you have any questions for me?
For you.
Yeah, for me. Do you have anything that I can
About
answer?
anything he just said?
No, it's nothing to do with the work plan.
Okay, then you can discuss it.
I have one question, and that is it your understanding that we should be discussing the city council concerns in this meeting, or should,
Yes,
okay,
that's what they directed us to do.
okay, great.
So, and maybe just bring those things, what staff, and let me finalize this, but what staff will do is we will make any updates to the work plan that the commission desires, to the draft work plan. And also we will take notes on your addressing of each of the, I believe there's 6 items.
Yeah.
That the council had, and we'll make notes, we will include that in the packet that goes to council for your joint meeting.
Thank you, Director Hernandez. Okay, so I think we'll turn to, oh,
I
sorry.
have a question. You mentioned 2 commissioners had, or were the work plan in the packet, can you tell us who they are?
Yes, the chair, as well as Commissioner Morris.
Sorry?
Commissioner Morris
Thank you,
and Chair
thank you.
Jen.
Gordon.
Corbin, sorry.
And so I will now open it up to public comment.
I might as well speak from here.
Okay, fine.
Does it make it, and this is just a couple of questions, and probably Manny will need to help with this. One of the items was to partner with Arts Los Altos. And I have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay.
I was slow in getting it up. I apologize.
Yeah. So I don't understand exactly what partnering with them is. I'm concerned because Mandy McBurney had quit. She was on the the Arts Commission at the time, and she resigned. And I know the city since then has accumulated a lot of money, and I don't know if they're looking, for the money. I'm not really sure what it is. I need to say that I'm extremely disappointed with the quality of the art that we have downtown that's being sponsored by them. A lot of people think that art is just subjective. My background is I have my undergraduate work from Buffalo University, and I have my graduate work in art education from Hunter College in New York. And I taught art for 12 years. And obviously I have to grade different art, and there are very, very serious criteria. And if you don't know, please go educate yourself. This perspective, this proportion, there's the message, is whether or not the colors work together, this technique that are evaluated by curators in museums, by art teachers, and some of the art that we have downtown is worse than graffiti. And if there was to be a partnership, which I assume that there will be, since in the arts guidelines from previous years, it actually said that they would partner with Arts Los Altos at least once a year. But I think the community and the commissioners and Manny, who have said in meetings he knows nothing about art, really need some heavy duty education to move forward. Because without it, it's like if somebody's playing the piano and they hit a flat note, you hear it. When you know what you're looking at for art, you see it, you go, oh my God. And it's very disturbing to me to see the quality of the art that we have. So thank you very much, and hopefully you'll be able to define what you mean. Manny, do you have anything what you mean by partner with?
I comment on this.
Just generically?
I can't comment.
Oh, you can't comment. All right.
We're prohibited from discussing.
We can't discuss.
Oh, okay, so you'll discuss what you need to discuss during the meeting. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. All right, so let's move on to discussion items. So I just want to recap it. But yes, I want to thank, Director Hernandez for, preparing this work plan, and the intent behind the work plan, and please correct me if I get this wrong, is to address the concerns that we heard from the city council, to shorten the work plan, and in addition to have assignments. So if you look at the work plan, you know, there's gonna be one or two commissioners who will be assigned in voluntarily, I would say, to take the lead and driving each of these action items to completion. I did take a stab at a straw man proposal, and I thought I'd share that with you, or we could just go around the table, because I don't want to dictate anything to anyone. I was just trying to figure out a way to speed this up. I also, since I was on the Public Arts Commission and I wanted to consult with somebody who was on the Park Commission, I did work with Commissioner Morris to review the work plan, and we both reviewed it, and we had no changes. You know, with that said, I'll open it up to discussion.
I have a question real quick, it's before we even get to discussion. Can you explain the the column third from the right?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you explain the column third from the right?
Priority source?
Yes,
I think,
I think if
Oh.
it said priority, I would understand it, but I don't understand priority source.
That came from, that is actually part of the boilerplate that was put forward for all the commissions. And the priority source being that it would connect to the council goals.
So it just says council down that column, or does it cite a particular strategic
There's-
goal, or?
It would tie into why you're doing it. So I can get further clarification on how to fill that in, but that's not a
Okay.
concern right now.
So if that's the case, let's just assume it has something to do with council's priority. My biggest question has to do with where in this work plan do we cite the priority with which we will approach these items? Because I think that was a huge concern from the council, which was that we worked on this, but they wanted us to work on that. We worked on that, but they wanted us to work on this.
I
So
think,
where do we?
I think we can do that. The first thing that I would like to try to do first, though, is to discuss what each of the items is and have one of the commissioners or more than one commissioner agree to take on the assignment, and then we'll talk about priorities, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm just asking where it show here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to take note of it.
Ma'am,
Yeah, please.
isn't that in the anticipated completion section? That prioritizes by month?
That's actually a good way of looking at it.
No.
That could be a seasonal thing. It could be we do 2 calls for art, you know, so one here, one there. And to me, I don't know, that would be one way to look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
okay.
Okay, Vice Chair Couture, any thoughts or comments?
I have no comments. I am pleased to see we have a work plan that's a little smaller than the last one.
I think our goal, our collective goal is to put together, and this is, I give Director Rand's credit for this, put together a plan that's achievable. And that's, and I think that we can get all of this done in this year, so, that's kind of my thought process. Commissioner Young, do you have any thoughts or comments?
I did. So the way I look at this is probably more from the business perspective, okay, because that's just
Yeah,
my background. And I think it comes down to, first of all, understanding where the issues with council generate. Okay, and I think there's 2 things. There's communication, because everything, almost every item, all right, that they have issues with ended up being some sort of either miscommunication, misunderstanding, you know, or whatever the case may be. Almost every single one. I watched the video a couple of times, right? And the other part of it is process, right? So we're talking about the what's. I think we have to talk about the how first. How do we do this? How do we execute on this? Right, and some of it was just mentioned. I developed a kind of a suggestion as far as to do, and you know, which could be obviously discussed, but unless we understand how we do things, okay? We're gonna be in trouble, okay? And part of it was assigning, I have it here, assigning commissioners to each one.
Right.
Right, that's one.
Yeah.
You know, reporting back, communicating, things along that line. So, I mean, I can go through each one of these, but, you know,
So maybe a better approach before we go to this, it sounds like what you may be thinking is we need to talk about the items of city council concerns first and how we're gonna address those and then move to the work plan.
sure.
Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so then why don't we start with the items of city council concern? So the first one was commissioner attendance, and I think that has been addressed already. I did before the meeting, I had asked everyone to read the city council norms and procedures and the commissioner handbook, and that kind of outlines the attendance expectations. I think that's taken care of. The reception of outside requests for partnerships. And I don't want to do all the talking here, so if anyone wants to chime in, please chime in, but my understanding.
Back on commissioner attendance, was that purely an attendance at meetings, or it seemed to me that that was a broader issue, it was an issue having to do with our presence at other things besides.
The focus of, if you saw the city council meeting, I was focused on attendance at meetings,
Okay,
so,
There's two parts to that. That's.
yeah, I mean, there is an expectation though, that we, attend more events, which I don't think anyone has a problem with, right? I mean, we're gonna be proactive, we're gonna attend lots of events, we're gonna support Halloween night, fun day, the cultural events, correct? Yes.
So actually, this falls right into one of the things I was talking about. Unless people are assigned and they say, I'm going to be there, okay, as opposed to say, hey, if anybody can show up, that'd be great. You're gonna run into a problem.
That's exactly why I wanted to have assignments. So every commissioner, for example, who's responsible for a request for partnership is gonna be in charge of that event. And it's gonna be up to them to ensure that as many of us who are available go to that event.
Mhm.
And if that means sending out reminders through staff, we'll do it. So, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. All right, any discussion on that? Anything further?
on item one, no. Okay.
Okay. All right, so the prioritization of work plans items, I think we should get to that. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying?
Number two, reception of outside requests for partnerships.
Oh, yeah.
Am I looking at a different one?
Okay, reception of outside requests. I mean, clearly, the expectation, I believe, is that, when we're asked to partner with an outside party, if for some reason, there's a reason that they come up with a suggestion that doesn't quite work for some reason, whatever, we try to figure out a way to make it work. I mean, so that we're gonna come from a place of, yes, how can we make this work? And I think that that's, my personal belief is that, I mean, that we did try to do that. But I think we have to step it up a little bit more. So I think that we got some very good guidance on that.
I think we have some confines about our rules and regulations that we were concerned about. And from my perspective, when I don't have a council person to actually ask that question right then and there, I feel like we had to bump it. For instance, the logo on their brochure. We couldn't do the logo on their brochure.
I think this speaks directly to, what Commissioner Young was saying, is that house, when it comes to, and I use a slightly different phrase, I kind of make a set of words. It's the guardrails, the rules, and the policies. I don't know how to behave unless I know the guardrails, the rules, and the process, and the policies within which I can make my decisions. I could be crazy expansive. I can also be guided by very strict guardrails. My understanding of our two commissions when we came together is that public arts was guided by very strong guardrails. And the parks side was not as, we didn't have those kinds of guardrails, holding us in. And then when we brought together, there was some tension regarding that as proposals came to us. So in particular, issues that having to do with our newest charter, the cultural aspect, we're going, this is my opinion, we went at that very blindly. We didn't discuss what are the criteria by which we're going to accept cultural events that we will put out to the community so that the community knows how to come to us to say, we want to do this cultural event. We understand you have certain rules we have to follow, but here's our petition. And maybe we even want to push some of your rules, but let's have a talk about it. But we didn't. We just kind of said, we're now a cultural commission. And I personally, which I was very excited about that charter, suddenly realized I don't really know what I'm allowed to approve and not allowed to approve. And therefore, I would have wished we paused. But of course, we were pressured by time. Wish we would have paused and said, let's work with staff, let's work with legal, and even the council, indirectly, to understand what that scope is going to be for us. And I don't think we've done that.
I understand what you're saying, hear what you're saying. I think that the way to address that are two things. First of all, we're gonna be meeting with the city council to discuss this work plan. This work plan has partnerships in it. And then we can seek guidance, perhaps at that meeting, if it works out, and if they're amenable to it, on what their expectation is. And then when we get into a situation where we have a party that comes before us and has a proposal, and we're not sure what to do, instead of just not doing anything or saying no, we can continue the agenda item.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, and then we can get guidance from staff. So I think, there's not gonna be a manual or rules and regulations that the city council is gonna be able to guide us. I think we're gonna have to use some judgment here. And I think it's gonna be up to all of us to be super proactive, constructive, positive, and action oriented.
So are you suggesting that we would get rid of the public arts guidelines?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Okay,
So I don't think we should get hung up on rules and guidelines.
I agree.
I'm not trying
You know,
to, I'm just, this is
Well, that's,
general.
I keep, even so, there's, something comes to mind. I was in sales, right? So you had to deal with the no's in a positive way.
Yeah.
You just did. There's something that I would recommend you all read. Okay, there's a very famous book, a study, right, on negotiations called Getting to Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know that book.
And I think that's what we're talking about here. It's not necessarily what's right, what's wrong, what's black, what's white. It comes down to if something like the logo on the material, right? Is having both sides understand why that can't happen, right? And once you understand why that can't happen, then you say, okay, is there an alternative that we can talk about that would accomplish a similar goal? Right? As opposed to, well, this rule says this, so I can't do it.
Right, I agree with that. I mean, anything else?
No, it's just a matter of, right now, you're gonna have to hold me back. I'm all about partnerships. I wanna partner with everybody. I want us to have our influence and involvement in everything that's going on in the community. So I'm gonna be one of those people that has to be held back.
We're gonna have to focus on the work plan.
I understand,
First and foremost, we have to focus on delivering our, results on the work
I
plan.
understand, but I'm saying within the
And if
scope of this work.
Yeah, if you're talking about priorities, the work plan is the priority. So, okay, anything else? All right, before we move on to number 3, prioritization of work plan items. We'll talk about that when we go to the work plan. And I'd like to get guidance from Dr. Hernandez on that.
I just
Well,
wanted to.
oh,
go back
yeah.
To,
Oh, yeah.
for a minute.
Okay,
So, my takeaway is the same. I heard that from at least 3, if not 4 of the city council members. And so that idea of, and I think, Councilmember Lang said it very, concisely, which is what you were saying, instead of the no, it's how can we work around that? So I'm taking it as that there's not a hard no, there's a maybe no, but maybe yes, and finding that way to yes. I will add too that historically, there have been a lot of no's in all of the commissions because people come and sometimes they ask for things that are not reasonable and don't make sense, but we are getting a clear direction from our city council that is saying, say yes and be more receptive to when people come in. So it's not just about the no, it's also about how we're doing it. So have more manners, be more polite, be more open. And so I just wanted to add that in because I think the manner part is a huge thing.
Okay, all right, now prioritization.
Yeah.
My third try. Okay, so we'll get to that when we go through the work plan. It was a big issue for them, but I also think it's gonna.
Is there any guidance from council on the prioritization, Penny?
Can I finish? Prioritization was a big issue, but I also think that the way that this work plan has been designed, will help us prioritize. So if you want to say anything? Commissioner Couture, any?
No, I'm good.
Commissioner, no, anything? Okay, thank you. So the next item is negative culture of the commission. Okay, so there were comments that there's a negative culture of the commission. I had difficulty with this one, I understand, I feel like I have valued working with each and every one of you. And I'm not sure if that's what they were referring to, or if it was the saying no to people.
I think it's what I was
Okay,
saying.
all right,
I think it
so-
was just the attitude that.
Yeah,
seemed
the
not
perceived attitude.
receptive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's, I mean, tell me if you disagree, but I think that that is something we can easily address, and I think it was City Council member Lang who said the way you address it is you show that that is not accurate, that we show through our behavior and our actions that we have a positive culture. And, you know, a respectful one.
Yeah, he said, better to say maybe not this, but maybe this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone have any further comments on that?
I think that's kind of, I mean, I
You
really
wanna
hope
say?
we can get there. I mean, because I want us to, I want us to be very welcoming and open and work to yes, start with yes, and then figure out, well, okay, maybe we can't do that, rather than even starting with, I don't know if it's yes or no. I always like to start with yes, and then, okay, where can I not do that? But, I mean, I think we can do it. And we've got the direction. We either have to agree to the direction or leave, you know, quit.
That's right.
I mean, somebody said that to you from council. I think it was
That was
Commissioner
there,
Councilman Lang said, if you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Okay, so are we done with, topic number 4? All right, topic number 5, expected accomplishments for the commission. It's the work plan. We'll get to that in a moment. And then more productive community engagement toward the cultural aspects.
Can you back up?
Yeah.
So the last one, I don't think it's just the work plan. Right? I think the work plan is the concrete piece to it.
Yes.
I think that there's the intangible piece that we've all been talking about here. Right? And somehow I think we need to come up with a way to remind ourselves of the intangible piece to it. Right? As opposed to, oh, well, we talked about that. Go from there. So because it'll come back as it has to haunt everybody.
so how do we do that?
Sorry?
How do we do that? How do we do that?
I think it's a matter of approach and reminding ourselves, and could be anecdotal, you know, and this is what I encountered today, and this is what we talked about, and this is how we handled it, and so on. So that it gives people insight into different situations of how things are happening.
So, you know, one of the things that we had on the Public Arts Commission is we had a mission statement. And whenever we had a question, we go to that mission statement to say, is this how we want to serve the residents of Los Altos? And that always helped guide us. I think when the two commissions were combined, I do not believe that we created a mission statement.
I think that's a great idea, and we need to do that, and if nothing else, it will help to create the culture that's necessary
You can
for us to
also
be successful.
agree, and right in parallel with your mission statement are your value statements. If you're explicit about your values, in particular, since we're a service organization, we serve the council, we also serve the community. And we serve the city in terms of the impact we have, you know, the art we're putting in, the parks we're supporting, the pickleball assessments we're gonna make, all that, we directly impact the city infrastructure. Our values are gonna be very important. And I don't think people often think about values as often as they think about what is the job I have to do. Because then that'll help us change the opinion that council has of this body.
Director Hernandez, do you have any thoughts or comments on a mission statement?
I could look into it if the commission's interested in something like that, and that's also a discussion item, maybe that you have
Yeah,
at the
We can
joint
ask
meeting.
council.
You could have council direct it. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, that's what
we
I
should
would
add that to that
recommend.
agenda. Okay, so
Actually, they're hard to do.
I know they
Really
are.
hard.
I know they are.
And, and what I maybe suggest for conversation, discussion, that may be an item for the work group. Even though it's not outward directly as a concrete scenario, but I think it's important enough under the circumstances to think about that.
I agree, and I agree that they're hard to write. And whatever we were to come up with, the city council has to sign off on. But I do like your idea of adding it to the work plan. Director Hernandez, any thoughts or comments? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so, and that would help with number 6. A mission statement would help guide us in more productive community engagements with cultural aspects. I mean, so I think, and maybe, well, we could talk more about it, but I'm thinking maybe when we add it to the work plan, we have an ad hoc committee to come up with something before the meeting in March. And
On
maybe,
the mission,
sorry,
on the mission or on the culture?
mission, what? Mission.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so, okay, so. How does everyone feel? Do you feel like we've addressed the city council concerns, or we're in the midst of addressing them?
I think on item 6 is probably one of the biggest departures that this commission has from the council mindset. And where we got, because that was a unanimous vote, you know, we all voted based on the criteria that we wanted to separate church and state. And we were very specific, and clearly we thought we were correct, and we weren't coordinating, we weren't aligned with the council, right?
I don't think we knew what the council wanted.
Well, in the end, you know,
Right.
looking back,
Right.
right? So we need to, I think if you think about everything that goes into any kind of cultural celebration that you can imagine, I think religion is gonna end up being a sticking point. So we, as a commission, need to make sure that we understand, that's where guardrails, I think, are important. Where can we put our personal feelings aside and understand the city's stance, both legally and socially and legislatively, to give us the scope where we know that we're okay making that decision and saying, this particular cultural event is okay, even though it may have certain elements that we individually might perceive as being religious.
There's a negotiation on both sides. Okay, in the sense that talk to a group, right, that a culture, whatever, you know, that what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. I think also looking around at what do other cities do, right? San Francisco doesn't have any trouble having a Chinese New Year's parade, okay? You know, and I think we're getting too hung up on these rules and guidelines and, you know, what's correct and what's not correct, because that's very subjective, okay, to say the least. And so it's kind of working both, and if the guidelines don't, or rules, whatever you want to call them, are not appropriate for today's world, they need to be addressed and changed, okay? But in order to do that, you need to reach out into the community at these different groups and find out what would they like to do, what makes sense for them. I mean, they have certain, I would think, sensitivities also, you know, and because you don't want to be stereotypical or anything along that line. So kind of work with them. Again, it's this negotiation that goes on. It makes sense.
I agree. I mean, there's not gonna be a rule book that we can follow, so.
There isn't, but there's one point, and it's religion.
The point I would like to make is that it's not an Easter egg hunt, it's an egg hunt, spring, whatever. They didn't let religion in that. They don't let religion in Christmas. They don't let religion in Hanukkah. So I was thinking we weren't supposed to let religion in, so that's where my decision came from. And clearly, council has already said that they want this in this year. It's already on the calendar, the room's already reserved, so I don't see that we have any choice other than to agree to it, honestly.
Okay, so.
I went out of turn, I know,
Yes, no.
that's me.
No, then thank you very much, Vice Chair Couture. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. All right, well, it's just, we're gonna have to work together, but I'm confident that we can do that. And I really like a lot of what you said, Commissioner Young. I think you're spot on. So, all right, shall we move to the work plan?
I have a quick comment on 6. I have mentioned this before, and I think this specific item is an opportunity for us to do a multicultural event within our city where we have many organizations and groups within our city
I
come
think-
together.
I think, I agree.
So
But
that
let's-
would community engagement towards cultural
I,
aspects.
yeah, I agree.
Am I not right on that?
No,
number?
no, no, no,
Okay.
I know, I think that you're giving an example for what would be an example to address number 6.
Yes, I
Yes.
think that would be one way to do it, and it could be great fun, and we could bring the community together. And really, we've got a lot of different cultures within our city.
Yeah.
It would be an opportunity. It could take us a year, 2 years to plan it, but I think if we want to do it, we can do it and get moving on it. And I think the groups that have come, a lot of them that have come before us would love to be involved in something like that. As opposed to this one here, this one here, this one here. We create unity when we all come together as a community.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so are we finished with item city council concern? Okay, so now I'm trying to
Since-
hear.
I do have one other comment. So, it sounded to me like the city council didn't know what we were doing. So I think whoever is in charge of each of these activities, events, whatever, I think we have to somehow let city council know what we're doing. As in, I don't know how we're supposed to communicate with them. And I don't know who would do it, whether it would be the chair, the vice chair, the person that's in charge, but they didn't know what we were doing, which I felt bad for.
Yeah. And it's an excellent point, and I think that the way, and I'd be interested in what Director Hernandez thinks, but I think that if, for example, we have a project here on the work plan, somebody comes in and reports on what they've done, we can send an update, an email that Director Hernandez could send to the city council. Would that work?
I could address that
Yeah,
in
we-
closing, because I feel like this is something that you should discuss with the council
Okay,
at your joint meeting, because you
Okay.
have a liaison for a reason. And that liaison will take that information back. So I think if you're pointed and saying, hey, council liaison, and I believe it's changed now, it's now
Mayor
the
Daley.
Mayor Daley.
Okay.
But if you make a point at the meetings and say, hey, here's our updates, you know, make sure that council understands where we are in this process, or as we check off certain points.
Okay.
If this is the work plan, as we go through, maybe just send it to council
that
through
makes
the
sense.
liaison, I think, and we can do that, that's fine. If
Yeah.
it needs to be electronically, it will go
Okay.
through us, and hey, can you send this to the liaison, and the liaison
I
can
think it should
share
be
it.
done regularly.
Yeah, like after every meeting
I
or
agree.
something,
I agree.
or after the event, maybe the next day or
Yeah,
something like that.
absolutely. We did that, with the Public Arts
Yeah, we
Commission.
did with the arts.
We sent, I prepared a PowerPoint that showed survey results of how people received one of the pop-up events, and it went to city council.
Yeah.
And we didn't wait for the year-end report.
And also when we were at, we did the, not mask, what did we do over there? I don't even remember.
Rocks?
No, not the rocks, the, when we were at, the arts and, not, was it arts and, the art festival where we had the booth?
Oh, the farmer's market?
Farmers market.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and that would address, I think it was Council Member Meadows' comments about feedback loop. So we start that loop and we just make sure we have the loop
Yeah.
going.
If that closes the item, I wanna, because what I'm gonna do is, as I said at the beginning, is I'm gonna summarize these things on the list, addressing each of the 6 items.
Okay,
So right now, let me go ahead and say this to the commission, make sure I have the notes. Item number 1, commissioner attendance, this commission feels that that's been addressed.
Yeah.
Item number 2, the reception of outside requests for partnerships. This is gonna be something that, you'll discuss at the commission meeting, or excuse me, the joint meeting. Yeah, and so what I have as a note is that you're unsure at this point what they are allowed to approve, what the commission is allowed to approve, but you plan on coming in the future, coming from a place of yes,
yes.
okay? If that summarizes that, I'll go ahead and
I
put
don't
that
know
in.
if we, I mean, I feel uncomfortable saying we don't know what we're allowed to do.
And let me help you.
Okay.
Because something that has come out in your discussion, and I wanted to hold my comments to the end. Let me remind this commission, and I've said this in the past, but remind this commission, you are an advisory body.
Yeah.
You're not approving anything. Whatever you say, if it's against the separation of church and state and all the things that you're worried about, staff and legal and council will not go forward with it. All you're doing is recommending to council. So no matter what you do, it's still gotta go for approval. You're not approving anything. Even if you approve funds to go out, it doesn't mean that it's gonna happen if it's illegal or if it's against the policies or ordinances of the city and state and county. Okay, so I just wanna remind you all of that. So not understanding what
Yeah,
you're allowed to approve or your action, I think,
I don't wanna
Is
say, I don't wanna
it's
say.
fair to say, but if you wanna retract that, that's fine.
I think I would not want that to go, I would not think that that is a good thing for us to do. I think the city council wants us to be more decisive, and I think as you correctly pointed out, which I really appreciate, we're an advisory body, so if we get it wrong and we approve something, it won't go forward. So I think that we just have to use our best judgment and think about what is in the interest of culture and parks and arts and recreations, and what would we support, what could we support?
Can I just, quick comment? I think the word maybe that we're looking for is solution.
Is what?
Solution.
Solutions, yes, yes.
So we're here to suggest a solution to something, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily getting to, it's being positive about
Yeah,
it. But as part of coming up with a solution, you have to have some sort of mutual agreement, which means that everybody's come to a positive space and basically the yes word in a way. But it's really a solution that we're proposing. We're not making any decisions, we're proposing a solution.
how about if we said, would everyone agree that our response to number 2 is we will be receptive to outside requests for partnerships and approach it from getting to yes.
We will encourage and be receptive.
That's enough. I will strike the, don't know what.
Thank you.
Okay.
The only thing is that sometimes there may be a no.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm thinking
That's fine.
like in the past, when we had some vendors, I'm gonna think of that came to the past park commission that none of you were on, I don't think. But some of the city council members were, we said no to certain things, and I want that room to be there for us to say no, with the understanding that if city council disagrees with us, they can do what they did for the iftar, where they just go around and say, nope, we're doing it. And so I think that's an important piece of it, because we have to be able to speak from what we think is important and value for not ourselves, but for within the city. So sometimes when I'm saying no to something, I'm saying no because of the cost. And I'm realizing we have parks that need to be updated, and so every penny that's spent is taking away from that. So I wanna have that room somewhere.
I think you have the room because it's in the commission handbook and it says each commission member is expected to exercise judgment in formulating recommendations to the city council.
So when we have something like that, though, as a group, I would hope that it would go from us to the city council with the information that the no wasn't a no because, you know, we were being mean, it's a no because of this, that, and the other, so that the facts go with the response. That's what's important to me,
So,
is that they understand what we're saying and why.
so if we follow that process, do we also recommend a solution?
Sure, and I really appreciate the solution idea, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we can't do it this way, but hey, here's an idea of what we may be able to do
Exactly.
over here.
Sure.
And oh, by the way, the party that we're talking to thinks that this might work, you know, that kind of thing, so you get everybody together.
Yeah, and I was just stating that so you understand that don't make a decision based on what you think the city council doesn't want, or what you think may be legally against. You are, as Commissioner Morris was saying, is you are here appointed for that reason, is use your judgment as it says in that statement. So that's all I'm saying. So is you're an advisory board, don't worry about those certain things. Go from a standpoint of representative of the community. Okay. Number 3 that I have is the prioritization of work plan items. You're going to go ahead and address that and what you're about to do right now. Number 4, negative culture of the commission. This commission will work, let's see, will address the perceived attitude through through your future behavior and action. That's what I have. Okay. All right, number 5, expected accomplishments for the commission, work plan and reminding, this is where I'm a little bit foggy on, reminding ourselves of the intangibles and the approach to different situations. And then there's a question on the ad hoc committee. You said something about an ad hoc committee going forward on something.
For a mission statement.
For mission.
Oh, mission statement, that's what it was. And just my 2 cents on the mission statement, that's a long drawn out process. You may not want to, if you do that and put this in this work plan, that will become a priority and then you won't get anything else done.
Okay, so then,
Judge, that's just my suggestion.
yeah,
You can still do
I
it.
think that's where the ad hoc committee comes in.
Yeah. and they-
actually, but I want to give a deference to Director Hernandez because he has a lot of experience with commissions. And if he's saying it should not go in the work plan, it doesn't have to go in the work plan.
It doesn't have to go this year.
We could still work on it, but it's not one of the measurable deliverables that we are gonna be held accountable for.
Yes.
So the question is, do we let council know that we're working on this in the background and it's kind of a,
We could raise it with them.
You can put it in, but put a realistic date, and I don't think realistically you're gonna accomplish all these things and then still get to it even by December.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're missing between now and November, you're still gonna miss one more meeting. So you
Yeah.
don't-
If that's
we're
the
in
case,
February right now.
we can't really use an ad hoc committee, right? Because we can't have.
And that's what I also wanna warn you, if you create an ad hoc committee, that's 2 less commissioners that could do something else. And you've got a lot of stuff on this agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a concise agenda, but there's still a lot of items and something has to be done in March, something has to be done in April, as you've seen on
Yeah.
the list. So it's almost every month you're doing something.
yeah.
I don't know if you want to invest the time, but you can do what you want. If
Uh,
that's something you wanna put on and maybe talk about it, that's up to you. But we'll get to that when you go to.
Yeah, no, and I think we, if anything, I think we should learn from past experience that we have to be super careful about taking on too much and prioritizing. Okay,
And something like that, as a reminder, something like that will go from meeting to meeting.
yeah,
Even when the
easily.
ad hoc comes
Oh,
back,
yeah.
it's not gonna be a complete process.
It easily, yeah, you're right. And as Commissioner Young said, they're difficult to write.
Yeah.
And especially when you have multiple stakeholders, we're all stakeholders, and then staff is a stakeholder, and city council is a stakeholder, and there are 5 of them. So,
And I don't even know the council wants to go.
They may
in that
not even-
direction, because in every commission's gotta do it, so,
okay,
I don't know. Okay, number 6, I've got, well, the note I have on here is the commission needs a better understanding of what is correct and what is not correct when engaging those cultural things.
I think this goes back to where we are here to exercise our, was it handbook say, judgment in formulating recommendations. So I think we need to. We want,
Honestly, what I just read back is a fair statement.
Okay.
Because cultural aspect is new to this commission, to both commissions,
okay,
so that might be a discussion item that you may wanna have,
Okay.
and just be honest with the council.
all right,
And say, hey, we're more than happy to go forward with the cultural aspects, but we'd like to know a little bit
That's what
more.
I was gonna point out. We have guidelines for park, we have guidelines for art, but we don't have any guidelines for cultural, so.
Yeah, especially when it comes to funding. I know that's still out in the open.
Right.
That's what we still need to iron out as a city under ordinance because it doesn't apply to any commission yet for cultural programs. So that may be a fair statement. It may sound like we don't know what we're doing, but it's not. It's a fair
Yeah,
statement.
it's,
Okay.
Okay?
And that was something Commissioner Valdez said was come up with rules and guidelines for the event. So it would be nice if we got more feedback about what they're thinking
Okay.
of this cultural.
Director Hernandez, can you repeat the comment you made about,
6.
the financial, no, just specifically the financial aspect? You said that's something that,
We've actually reviewed some of the funding aspects between that go between the art fund, public art fund, and its application in funding cultural programming. So that has not been clarified yet. So none of that can go on, none of it has gone on. We haven't used any funding for
But-
cultural programming, but we need to clarify that at a legal level and possibly at an ordinance level, but I'm not sure where legal has it.
and same would go for park impact fees, right?
No, that's park impact fees is straightforward.
That can't go for cultural.
No. That never was in question.
Yeah, okay. So the question.
That's
is-
defined by another level. It's
Right.
not.
Going for public art. Interesting.
So the more,
Is that an operational thing or is that on the council of future agenda?
it'll probably be a future agenda item, because if it's ordinance related, which I think it is at this point, then council will have to take action to change the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Could I clarify something? Did you say that the park impact fees can't be used for cultural events?
Nope.
Okay,
Park
thanks.
impact fees are only for improvements or acquisitions,
So what have we been using thus far for cultural events?
Nothing.
operating budget. That's why everything that we've done for our cultural events would have been operating budget. And in most cases, it's not even within the operating budget. And then this is a bigger conversation to have. It will be through the fee waiver process. So as far as cultural events that have come recently in the last 2 years, it's been through the fee waiver. We have not budgeted for these then. And I know there was some discussion briefly here about, hey, in the future, we can do a multicultural event, and everything. Those are great ideas. The problem is finding the experts in your cultures to do that. And that's what makes those the cultural programs a lot easier, is when you have experts that know their culture and they can come in and run it. That's what I prefer from a programming standpoint. And all this commission would do was either be involved in some aspect or endorse or support in some way.
Like the Chinese one that you had.
Much like the Lunar New Year or the Moon
Yeah.
Festival,
No, I-
those things. There were
Yeah.
waivers. We didn't put any city funds directly
And there were
into
people
the
that were
program.
like crazy.
And these experts, they knew stuff that, a lot of us as
Yeah.
programming experts would not know. And I've done that for my 27 years
Okay.
in
Cool.
recreation. I've partnered with Polynesians,
Yeah.
Polynesian festivals, partnered for Lunar New Year festivals and so on.
Is there any requirement for those entities that you call them experts, to be nonprofits, or can they be just community organizations that are
They
not
can be
registered?
community. I've dealt with community organizations in the past. The preference is nonprofits though, so the funding is secure.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question, can public arts funds be used for culture events?
No, and that's what I was saying right now. At this point, no, we're trying to get clarification if it can or if there needs to be an ordinance change,
Thank you.
All right,
which I don't think they'll have the answer right now.
yeah,
They're looking into it.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, I will summarize these things. I will pass this around
okay, great.
and then we'll include this with the work plan, which you're about to start on that.
Are you satisfied, Director Hernandez, that we have addressed these items?
No, I am satisfied that I have summarized them correctly. You'll have to work with council and see. If you're
Understood.
interested.
Okay,
I
thank
have
you.
it's not on this list and it's not in the work plan. Do you know anything about how we get our head count? Or is that just gonna be pushed out until after a decision is made at a joint meeting?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's probably something to talk to council. about.
Okay.
I don't know of any open recruitment right now.
I think they usually wait till the next year.
Well, on their future agenda item, they have a future agenda item already to fill commission heads.
Okay.
So there is an application window in March, so I didn't know.
You know more than me.
It's some of the
Yeah,
packet.
so maybe I just want to keep this moving, so
Okay.
if you don't mind, Commissioner. Okay, so we could spend 2 hours going through this work plan. I want to like not do that. I want to be efficient. That's one of the things I had represented to the city council is that we can be efficient. And so my proposal for your consideration is, what if I know you haven't seen this before, and as you've heard Commissioner Morris and I looked at this, we had no changes. What if we went item by item, goal by goal, I should say, and just if anyone has a comment or a question, we can address it. And then once we get through that process, then we go through and we make the assignments.
I have no questions on anything that you
You have no
said. I'm
questions?
ready for assignments.
Okay. Commissioner Doris, thank you. Commissioner Valdez.
The only thing that was missing that you and I had talked about when we grounded ourselves on it was the Magical Bridge. So it fell off the list.
Is that a question for me?
It's a question for.
All you have to say is, Manny, it's a question for you.
If Manny is a question for you.
Okay, there you go. I will address. Once again, I drafted this up for review for the commission. You can still do whatever you want with this. You can add that if you want. Realistically, I don't know what your goal would be for a Magical Bridge. I've done it. I've ventured there administratively, to try to see what's possible in the city and just to give you information on that item. Right now, we've kind of hit a wall on that as far as space, and there's so many other factors that we shouldn't talk about right now. But there's enough factors to say that that is not achievable within the next 10 months.
There's a brand new one in Mountain View.
Yes, anyone in Mountain View. So, working with their group, the Magical Bridge, group, they will probably be coming and talking to me in the future. And I do invite that, but at this point, in the next, like I said, in the next 10 months, I don't think it's anything that the commission needs to get involved with and should be a priority at this point. But like I said, you still do whatever you want. Don't add it.
Commissioner Young? Is there anything that you want to discuss in terms of projects or in terms of,
On the
questions?
whole plan, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
so I just have two kind of questions, comments. On the partnership with Arts Los Altos, based on the comments that I heard from the lady that spoke. It's just, consider changing one word. And changing create to explore.
Okay, well, I mean, what do you?
Are you talking about expansion of public art? That one?
create
Yeah,
partnership?
expansion cover art, and it says create partnership, instead of create partnership, explore partnership.
It's hard to make that tangible, though. I mean, creating, you've got to come up with a solution. It may not be exactly what they want. It may not be exactly what we want.
That's why I use the word explore.
Because explore doesn't have an output. There's no output to explore. Create, there's an output. I mean, shouldn't our goals be very output oriented?
How about we do both, explore and create? First you figure out how it can be done and
Sure.
then.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fine. I totally agree with that.
I was being
That's fine.
very diplomatic.
I think it's in some ways semantics, right? But
It is semantics, but if it's important to you and it's important to you, then, we can do it.
But I also know, and I
Because
also.
first we do have to talk about it.
If they want us to be optimistic.
Yeah, they, assuming they want a party, but,
Yeah, they may not want to.
along the same line, moving down to the increased cultural programming, we say endorse. I don't know, what does endorse mean? I don't know what it means. In the context of this.
Vote for.
I think when we,
Declare one's public approval for or support of,
Okay.
the literal definition.
Okay.
And in practical terms, it also includes things like, we support putting their logo on their event. We support fee waivers that might come up. We support the
Endorsed
president.
by the
You know,
That's
it's
city of
approval.
Los Altos.
that's gonna be the next agenda item for the endorsement. And it's basically, they're looking for a motion to endorse.
I just didn't know.
Yeah, no, I know, it's a good call out. And I just wanted to go back to the expansion of public arts. In preparing, for this meeting with Commissioner Morris has some very specific ideas for how to partner with Arts Los Altos that I think would be a win-win. And so that's probably why I'm gonna suggest you be on this, so.
Oh, yeah, I had one idea.
Yeah.
specifically,
But it was a good
there's
idea.
more we can do.
I think it would be a win-win.
Right.
So that, okay, so.
Oh, so you want me on that?
I do, if you're amenable.
Yes, I
I
am.
was just
That's fine.
concerned with the comment that she made.
Who's she?
I-
Mrs.
Oh,
Mrs.
You're pointing at me, Val.
You're talking about Roberta
Public
first.
speaker,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, cool, all right, any other comments, edits to the work plan? Okay, so why don't we go through them?
Oh, I
and-
have one. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm realizing what you're asking. So last year, when I asked about Justice Vanguard and, our getting involved in it, I can't remember who I spoke to, but I know it was staff, and I was told they don't really, this is, again, I wanna look into this. What I was told is they don't really want us to be involved in a way that, they want to control their own event. That's what I got, was they want to control their own event, but we'd be welcome to have a table there. So I think for this, it's about supporting, which the city already does. The park space is donated, is that correct?
Well, once again, this item is specific to the commission. So the commission support, the city's
Yes.
support and the department's support is not in question here. This work plan is for the commission to
How do you
support.
I understand, so what we would need to do in order to be able to determine whether or not they want our involvement in any ways, we'd have to reach out to them. So before the support comes, it's the question of, do they even want us? So that's where that's with the mall too, it's like, do they even want us? I mean, a lot of people wanna control their own event. If they want volunteers and they want us to show up, yeah, all over that, but we need to understand how we can support. So we're saying do it, but I'm saying we need to understand how, because when I did ask about that last year, I was told, no, they don't want us. We could have a table.
How
Is
about
that
if
an
we,
action
how
item?
about if we say,
Yeah.
if
Absolutely, you can complete that.
how about if we say this, if receptive, support Justice Vanguard?
I think it goes without saying. If you can't support them and they don't want them, you say could not support or
Okay.
in any fashion, and you cross it off the list next year.
Okay,
Okay.
That's all.
fine.
It's
I
just,
wanna make
it's just, I
sure.
just went out there because like I said, there's still aspects of it, and I've spoken with that group before. And they're looking for support, and that's why I use this support in a different context here. Because support can be seen as physically being at the event, physically helping them with the setup. It could be financial, and as we've talked about in the future, that may be something that the city can do, and you can endorse that support. In whatever fashion that they desire, and if they say no, like I said, it's real easy. So, okay, so I think keeping it that, we don't know what the support is. In fact, I will suggest, and I hate to do this, but I will suggest the change now that I'm looking at the wording, and strike Juneteenth event. And just strike the Juneteenth. I would recommend that the wording changes support the Justice Vanguard events, because they have more than one event. They have more than one event, and that may find other avenues for support from the commission, because they have a movie night and
So
something
I
else.
think that's a perfect.
So if it pleases the commission, I would strike that.
Yep. let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any further comments on the goals, objectives, projects? Okay, so I think are we ready to move on to assignments? Okay, so I have a straw man proposal, which I will share with you as we go through these items. I will confess, I didn't have a straw man proposal for you, Commissioner Young, because I'm not as familiar with what you want to work on. So maybe I'll start with you when we go through this one. So let's look at a table at the farmer's market for public input and upcoming project. Now, several of us did a table at the farmer's market, Public Arts Commission, so.
I love this because it's one block from my house.
Oh, okay, you want to? Okay, all right, so
So I could,
Do we know when that
It says,
assignment
complete-
is yet?
we will be waiting for information from staff.
I can do it as long as I don't have an open house that day.
Totally fine. Totally fine, yeah, and with the expectation.
so we could set up a schedule.
It's
Yeah.
a Thursday night, I think we just rotate.
Well, And the expectation is, I think that Commissioner Young will, you know, get it all lined up, I'll help if you like. But everyone who can go will go. Well, when you're.
The way, actually, the way I would do it
No,
is
he's gonna sign us.
assignments, you know, people sign up to do it, right? And if something happens to come up, find a replacement for yourself
Okay,
and let it go from there. Because again, if we say, hey, everybody goes, then nobody goes.
Yeah.
Right?
okay,
But was I hearing you say you were gonna make him the lead on this?
Yeah.
To figure out the
Yes.
assignment?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? You're doing that.
Yes.
You're the lead.
So I think
Okay.
they only gave us one table one time. They don't give us a table every Thursday.
Well, that's part of your job.
The farmer's market.
Downtown downtown village.
Association.
So we have to
It's
work
not-
on find that.
you can work, and we had 2 tables, because remember, we had
Yeah.
an information table, and then we had a table where we had an art event.
Yeah.
So people were coming in, they were doing silk screening.
Huh?
So it's up to you, you can be as creative.
And we
as you
had a
want.
silk screening guy there who did it all. We was just managing it. He came and volunteered his time.
We'll work with those.
Yeah.
We'll have the
Dates
dates.
and
We'll have the dates. It may be 1 and maybe 4.
So the next item was gather public input on site regarding facility improvements as it relates to pickleball at Mackenzie Park. So my proposed straw man for this was, Commissioners Morris and Commissioner Valadez. Only because you were on the park commission. You guys did discuss pickleball, didn't you? Yeah. So
We were there for the, well, I was, for the, getting the pilot going.
So I don't know if you both want to do it, just one of you want to do it?
Well, let's just go through your story, and I don't know what else you.
Okay, so we'll say.
I'm not saying no. I'm
Okay.
not saying no to anything.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so then the next one is expansion of public art. I had put down, I thought we should have someone from public arts background and somebody from parks, so I had proposed Commissioner Couture and Commissioner Morris. Maybe that's
So
too much.
what's the assignment again?
It's explore and create a partnership with Arts Los Altos. And by the way, that, I'm not gonna suggest that we edit anything, but that could also include lava for the Third Street Promenade.
So just full transparency, I'm on the committee, the coalition for the Art Beat Slash. So, but I do that as a member of the public, so, as long as we have our head count right, you know, they could be working on it, but I'm a community
Okay.
volunteer on that commission, on that coalition. So if we have 7, that's okay.
So
We might not have 7.
Well,
we might not have 7.
I don't think we're gonna have 7.
okay, 'cause I've been working on that for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so let's come back to that
We'll come
one.
back to
Okay.
that.
Thanks for telling us that.
I may have to withdraw, but.
No, you don't wanna withdraw from that. You can just do something else.
Okay, all right, so table at summer concert. And summer concert event to be determined. The summer concerts go throughout the summer. So who wants to be in charge of that?
Got a
Yeah.
clarification on this? So what I've done in the past is if the staff asks for help, I just show up and do it. So are we talking about that, or are we talking about having our own table?
Those are on during the week, right?
Thursday.
They're not on the weekends, are they?
Thursdays.
Oh,
I thought there was Saturday
We're talking
one.
about concerts, right?
Yeah, isn't there a Saturday one ever?
There's one, but
Farmers
we're not
market.
involved in it. It's the orchestra.
symphony.
Yeah, the symphony. orchestra.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
understand.
I'll do that.
And I can do.
Okay, so you got Terry.
Right, so put Couture down. Great.
Somebody
Post
needs
a
to tell me
project room
who to
at
contact.
family. Sorry,
We'll
post
work with it.
Nanny.
a project room at Family Fun Series event.
Who's name did you have on that one?
You.
I already typed your name in.
You.
Out loud. Okay.
Yeah, no,
So we are talking again about a separate table from what the staff is
It's a
doing.
whole
Well, we're talking about hosting a
Well,
room. That was
but-
suggested to me from staff is if we have multiple commissioners here, you can host a whole room of doing whatever that room is.
Yes, and if we did that, it would take more than just me.
Yes, it would.
Okay, so what I would like to say is that Commissioner Valadez and I had a whole list of activities for pop-ups, and I would probably draw on those. And we would look at them where we prioritized them and maybe bring it back to the
You're talking
commission.
about the process
Okay,
now.
got it, sorry. So fine, I'm fine as the
Okay,
lead.
okay, so
organize it.
I'm putting you as the lead.
Okay,
Okay, and then post Halloween movie night at Grant Park. Um,
I did that before.
that's my strong, person proposal was Morris and Couture.
yeah, I always do, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I think you guys like that.
I'm always here.
Assist PR, Parks P and R staff with spring egg hunt.
I'm already signed up.
Okay, I could, okay, I'll put
Well,
you
they
down.
need more. It's a big event.
I could help.
Okay, it's a
Yeah,
really
only
big.
only if you want, but you can be the lead.
Do
feel-
we lead on this again? It says assist the park and rec staff. They just tell us what to do. We show up and we work.
Yes, but then you come back to this body and you tell us what we're gonna do, and we sign up.
You would be leading the commission.
Yeah,
I understand.
Here's
The
the-
way it has always worked is that we show up as commissioners and we get told what to do that day.
that's okay.
Is that
So this is
Yeah,
not,
and then you just have to report back.
yeah,
what we did?
yeah, this is not a
Yeah.
tabling event.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
What is the time commitment? You know?
It's like 4 hours
Yeah.
max.
I mean, you get there kind of early in the morning. And then, set up all the stations that they need, all of the things, and then it's fast, it's fun.
And it's downtown, right?
It's right here,
Oh, it's
For
here.
you.
it's right at Hillview
Park.
Park.
Perfect.
It's
I
damn.
can help.
You want to do that?
Yeah, it's always damp and cold,
Okay, so.
and then it warms up.
So we have 3 for that,
Can we have 3?
as long as we don't talk about anything.
Yeah,
Can we have 3 as long as we
You
don't,
only-
because of the
I
Brown Act?
I think you only need one person to lead it. And do you want to lead it, or do you want
What
to
are
lead
we
it?
talking about now? Are we still on this?
We're
on the next
Egg
table.
spring, egg hunt.
Egg hunt.
The egg hunt.
I mean, and really, all it is whoever, finds out all the details for where we show up and when, comes back here and make sure that we all know about it, and maybe you send reminders to Manny that it's this weekend, show up.
So. That would be really good.
Do you know what date it is?
Always on Saturday, but I don't know.
I don't know the
exactly
date
what
yet.
date right now.
The,
April something.
so staff has
Probably
typically
April
handled all of
19th.
that. They send out the email, they ask us if we're gonna do it, we say yes.
For,
I mean,
And then we don't.
It's the Saturday.
it's okay, you don't have to do anything more than come here and say it's on this Saturday.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Staff has also always done that. They
Yeah.
do a thing that we plan.
But it's on our work plan, so
That's fine.
we can check the box.
anybody
This
who
says
volunteers for
assist.
any of these programs,
Yeah,
you will either work what the commission desires to do, such as the hosting of a room. You had a bunch of suggestions right now. You'll work with, probably Mary Jo at that
Mhm.
point,
Yeah.
to figure out what you're doing in that room, and then you'll know how many commissioners you need to bring.
sure.
Or you will work with somebody else, like for the spring egg hunt, you're gonna work with, I forgot who Lisa is, Candace?
Candace,
Yeah.
and it
It's
is
the 19th. April 19th.
And they may, yeah, okay, so it is. So yeah, they'll give you direction. That's all. You'll work with staff. I will hook you up with the staff that oversees those programs in these programs that we have here.
So we're changing the order of how we used to do things. So it used to be that if there was an egg hunt, let's say, that you would come, it would be on the agenda and we'd say it's on this day and we need volunteers.
That's just our events. That's what we used to have, just a list of events. Way back for commissions in, years and years ago, they used to actually do the things that you're proposing to do right now.
Okay.
You will table at the concert, you will run the whole event at the Halloween movie night. And you will table it, those things. There is actually, the commission is going out and taking action as a supplement of this
Okay.
event.
Okay.
However, like the spring egg hunt, that may be a little bit different because it's just craziest 30 seconds in recreation. So that may work a little bit different, probably the same way as just show up but you'll know what you're doing because you'll be connected with the people in charge.
So is David leading that?
Alright.
The egg hunt?
I'm gonna ask, Commissioner Young, do you wanna be the lead on the spring egg hunt, or do you
Sure, I
prefer?
can.
Okay, perfect. I think that would be,
April 19th.
I think that would be good, because, Morris is ending up on a lot of these boxes. So,
Yeah.
all right, so next is partner with Greater Los Altos Chinese Association at the Moon Festival.
I want to do all the cultural ones.
You want to?
I'll lead all of them.
Okay,
And if anybody wants to join in, cool, but I want to lead all of them.
okay, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll put you down for that, for the Iftar event and Justice Vanguard.
Mhm.
And then Commissioner Morris, I, as a straw man proposal, had you partnering with Commissioner Valdez. Do you want, I mean, I think you have a lot though.
I'm fine with that. I think the thing with the Mala and the Justice Vanguard, see if they want us and
Okay.
in what capacity.
Okay.
So if you wanna handle that, and then just report back.
Okay.
The one thing to note is the Mala event is the 15th of March.
Yeah, I know, but we have a longer reaching thing, you know, planning for 26. You know, our relationship will continue to
Yeah,
evolve.
oh, sure.
Okay,
But if they want volunteers or something, that's what I'm saying for this
Yeah.
event.
okay. All right, so, and then we're moving along. The next item is, select the theme and hang selected art in the community center gallery art twice a year. Commissioner Couture, do you think that's possible?
Twice, yeah, we did it twice last year.
Okay, do you mind being the lead on that?
Yeah, we have to figure out, so put on the agenda next time, we need to figure out what our theme is.
Yeah, so we should do that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a.
And as leads, make sure, she just did it right now, as a lead of that program, at the end of this meeting, when we talk about future agenda items, that one needs to be on next
Yeah.
month, and that'll be the
Okay.
lead's
Yeah.
obligation to get that on there in time, so, yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Easy.
Okay, so update the public art listing and brochure. I can do that. I've got all the materials and I've got the updated art inventory. So, and that I can bring up in future agenda items too, so we can get going on that. And then for select the movie for Halloween movie night, I put all of us, because that's a vote that we all do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for select call for art and artists for art without walls as necessary, we all do that.
All of us.
Okay, so let me go back and recap.
Good,
Do
because
you
I-
have this, or do you want me to recap it?
Please.
We would love for you to recap
Yep,
it.
make sure we're all.
No, we,
Okay, so,
Check.
so number one, table at farmer's market, that's Commissioner Young. For gathering input for the pickleball, that's Commissioner Morris and Commissioner Valdez.
And the lead is the first one you're saying, with Commissioner Morris is the lead.
Oh, you want.
It's just easier to have one point of contact, because if I get an email from one commissioner and then another.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, so
So,
then
and that's fine, they're both together, it's just, I
But we'll
wanna
just-
know who the lead
we'll
is.
just take a lead. So, Commissioner Morris, would you be the lead on pickleball?
Do you wanna be the lead?
Okay. All right, so
I
lead,
can be the lead or not the lead, I don't care.
and then,
Wait, who's the
So who
lead?
is the lead?
it's
Morris.
Commissioner Morris.
Okay.
And Commissioner Valdez will be working with you on creating a partnership with Arts Los Altos, that's Commissioner Couture. And then as the lead, and are you able to do this, or do you have a conflict?
This is the public.
Wait, you have me as
Which one is
the
this?
tour and me.
I have
For,
You have-
for
This
Arts
is
Los,
Arts Los
Yes.
yeah, yeah, okay, so well, that's fine, but
Explore
I,
and create partnership with Arts Los Altos. You had the two. us
okay,
two.
all right, we can.
Is that okay?
I think it's okay.
Are you the lead?
Actually, that.
No,
could be
you
fine.
are. I can be. You want me to be the lead? Whatever you want. I can be the
I think
lead.
it might be better.
Okay, then I would like Commissioner Valdez to be the lead on pickleball.
Okay, so.
Is that okay?
Yeah, totally fine. So
Okay.
Valdez is lead on pickleball with
Got it.
Morris. You're the lead on Arts Los Altos with
Yep.
Couture.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be good because Commissioner Couture knows where, if you do a sculpture, she knows where all the paths
She
are.
knows it all. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All I'm gonna do is get it moving.
Table at a summer concert, that's Commissioner Couture. Family Fun Series, that's Commissioner Morris. Host the Halloween movie night at Grant Park, I think Commissioner Couture, you wanted to be the lead on that?
Sorry.
That was with, host the Halloween movie night at
Yes,
Grant Park?
yes.
Okay, so you're the lead on that with Commissioner Morris. Spring Egg Hunt is Commissioner Young. Partner with Greater Los Altos Chinese Associates, the Moon Festival, that's Commissioner Valdez.
Yeah, all three of them.
Yeah, the Iftar event was Commissioner Valdez. Justice Vanguard, that's Commissioner Valdez. Cool. All right, do you want any helpers?
I'll get.
All right, okay, select the theme, for the community center gallery art, that's Commissioner Couture. Public art listing and brochure, that's Commissioner Corrigan. And select the movie night, for Halloween, that's everyone, select the call for art and artists for art without walls, that's everyone.
Got
All right. Director Hernandez, is there anything else we need to do on this agenda item? Okay.
Not that I see, if you wanna, if somebody wants to make a motion, then I can.
Okay, great, so then I would like to invite a motion to approve this work plan.
I move to go approve.
I second the motion.
Okay. Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Valadez.
Yes.
Vice Chair Couture,
Yes.
and Commissioner Young.
Yes,
I have that unanimous.
So we'll move on to the third agenda item, which is endorsing the Mala Iftar cultural event. Is there a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This item, as it's worded, this commission has an opportunity to endorse the upcoming Iftar event. I know that's only a few weeks away. Actually, they'll meet before, or that event will happen before the next meeting of this commission. That's why it's on your agenda tonight. And it's just asking for an endorsement. I've spoken to the Mala Group and they're definitely open to getting an endorsement from the commission. An endorsement is exactly as that defined it earlier. It's with the public confirmation of accepting the event. And that's all. They are already got all their details worked out for 2025. On your work plan, you will work towards the 2026 during this next calendar year to see and work with them to try to get any needs that they may have or any support that they may desire from this commission. But in this item that's in front of you, it's just an endorsement of the event that's coming up on March 15th. Yeah, Marco.
Any clarifying questions?
I have one. Is the agenda for the event the same as last year, you know?
I have not seen their agenda. That's a thing. And once again, the event is the Iftar dinner. That's the ending of the fast as explained in the report. That's the information straight from their website. So that is the dinner that you would endorse. That's all.
Oh, so we're not the other things like the fundraising and the theater events that go with
I'm
that?
not sure what other events go with it. As far as the city is concerned, that event is the one that
Okay.
they've received a waiver for.
Any other clarifying questions? Okay, so I would like to invite public comment at this time. Is there anyone who wishes to speak?
We do have one public commenter.
We have two.
Yeah.
But
I don't even have it. It's okay. We can.
Oh, bring it.
Am I allowed to ask you a question?
No, I'm not gonna interact though, that's the only problem.
I can't do it.
No interaction.
No, I can have interaction with you.
We can talk later.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, so, I'm assuming, although I have spoken to Gabe England, that the room is being, the fee waiver has been granted. And, I just wanted to know, like you said, the agenda, will the group be allowed to pray? Will the group be allowed to sing? Will the group be allowed to, which they did last year, ask for the 5 pillars of Islam? I don't know the answer, and I'd just like to know if, Gabe England told me that Manny and, he has met with Mala, so I just think the community is just curious as to any improvements or changes from last year. So that the event is successful and it can be a cultural event and, that there's less controversy and more love and joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Public comment?
We do. We have a second comment. Mazam?
Can you
Hello,
spell your
everyone.
name, please?
Yeah, my name is Mozam Chaudhry. I'm based out of the city of Los Altos. And
You can just have me stand. Please, thank you.
Yeah, Mozam Chaudhary, based here in Surgery of Los Altos, and the community has been just amazing with my kids, their business and stuff. I love it in the city. So I'm representing Mala. First of all, I thank you all for your comments today. It was very empathetic, open to partnerships, willing to support, leading with a yes, and then figuring out how to find a solution. Loved it. So thank you for doing this. I just wanted to share that this iftar it's a dinner. It's a dinner, happens at the dinner time. As part of iftar, it's also a matter of giving to the community. This is how we're teaching our kids, our families, our friends that it's not about just fasting. It's about giving, supporting the community and do good. It just so happens that we pray 5 times a day. And our prayer falls at the time of the dinner. We have to pray. Before coming here, I was 15 minutes late because it was prayer time for me. And I had to pray before I came here. The prayer time just falls there and people have to pray. It's a mandatory 5 times. So it's just a part of that. As part of breaking fast, it is during that month of Ramadan. At the sunset, we have to eat. Why not eat with our community and friends? Why not break the fast with everyone? And it's more about just sharing that we are part of this community. We love this community. We want to bring everyone to support, partner, be part of this giving, and get to know us so that the goodness comes out of it. And we participate in other ethnic religious events. It's not a religious event in this case, but ethnic events. The Spring Easter. I would love to be coming. I would love to be there. I've never been to one. I would love to come and bring my kids along, for example. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for bringing the community together. We are a small community. This community, as I said, and I'll reiterate, my kids are bakers. They have a stall at the farmers market as well. And this Los Altos community has been just amazing and instilling the love for baking, entrepreneurship, support, and hey, your part and making us feel, although I didn't grow up here, but making me feel that this is home for me for you. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I have a question.
No, only clarifying questions. Yeah, we're not allowed to engage in discussion.
No, it's not a discussion. It's a not. I'm agree. Okay, all right. That's it. No question.
Okay, all right, so, I'll open it up for discussion. Any thoughts, comments? Questions?
When is the joint meeting?
March 11th.
March.
Tentatively scheduled, at least we're on the agenda or the tentative, that's why I said it's tentative, the tentative agenda for March 8th.
Any other thoughts or comments?
Because this has come before us and it was one of our no's last year. I have no problem with the intent and I don't think there's anything nefarious and I'm fine with endorsing something that has already been endorsed again by our city council and our staff. My big concern is the door we open because it is a religious event. So I want to go on the record with that. I understand all of the parts about the community part of it, and that's the part I support and I endorse all of that. I will not ever endorse something that I think is bad. So if as one of our public writers said, if the Satan group came, I will never endorse something like that. So this, I think we need guidance on, and we better have some clear outlines on it, because when you're talking religion, it opens a wide door, and that's my main concern, is I want to be able to treat everybody exactly the same, and I will never endorse something that I think is detrimental to humans and our psychology. So that's it, but I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Maybe I can address, allay some of your concerns. So
at the February 20th, 2024 meeting, this did come before us as an agenda item, but it was a little bit different because it was, the agenda item read Ramadan events request art fund for support for co-sponsored cultural event. And it included a request for $15,000.
Right.
And it also mentioned, reading the Quran and increased prayer. This particular report doesn't have that. There's no request for funds.
Right.
There's no mention of religion. It's focusing on the culture.
This report,
Which is great.
to which report are you referring?
Right?
To which report are you
In our
referring?
agenda.
Request, she said request.
Okay, yeah, there's no.
And I'm fine with that, so I understand it.
Yeah,
Read
so,
it, understand it, I'm good.
yeah, okay,
I
yeah.
just want it on the record what I'm saying,
I really respect your
because
opinion.
I will
Thank
never
you.
support something.
Thank you
like
very
that.
much, Commissioner Morris. I understand what your position is. So are there any other comments? So, I do want to get back to, fast forward from 2024 to 2025, I think we heard the city council. They have supported this. The invitations have gone out. We are an advisory body and serve at the council's pleasure and need to follow their direction. And the way I look at this endorsement is that, looking at it from a position, yes, and positivity, it will be helpful guidance and a precedent for other groups, religious or otherwise, who wish to get similar support. So, so if it makes sense to all of you, then maybe we could entertain a motion to endorse the event.
I agree.
You want the motion?
I'll make a motion to endorse the iftar event that's gonna be on March, what date is it?
50.
15th.
I'm sorry.
Great. Are there any questions about that, or are we ready to call for a vote?
I think we're ready to
Okay. Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Chair Corrigan,
yes.
Commissioner Valadez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Couture,
Yes.
and Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Okay. Unanimously approved.
All right, moving along, staff updates.
So, thank you. Sure. The only update we have, first of all, we'll start with Parks and Recreation volunteer opportunities. Wanted to talk to everyone here as commissioners. You definitely are volunteers for the city in the time that you do. You're not getting paid for being here, not getting paid for the events. You are a volunteer, and that you were appointed as a commissioner by the council. Volunteers for Parks and Recreation. We are always looking for volunteers, and I speak to the public who's listening and who sees this recording. And they can reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department for their volunteer opportunities. However, the process, there is a process in becoming an actual volunteer because you are working with children and seniors and definitely we want to make sure that you are background checked. So in that.
Could you try again?
What I was saying. So with that, there is a process to become a volunteer for the Parks and Recreation Department, and that does include a background check. If any commissioner, now commissioners, once you're appointed as a volunteer, as a commissioner, that does not bypass the background check that is mandated by the State Department, that we have to check you with the Department of Justice to make sure that you can work with children and seniors and stuff like that. Any commissioner that is interested in volunteering, and I know we have at least one commissioner that is at every single event, and she has been cleared definitely through the background check process. It's not a huge process, but it is a couple more steps. But we do invite the commissioners to be open to volunteer at any point, as well as getting alerts for volunteer opportunities. Because once you're in our system, you will get automatic emails that say, hey, here's another opportunity to volunteer for whatever event and so on and so forth. To get that background check. What I have included in the packet is your contact in our staff, Bridget Matheson. to reach out to her if you're interested in getting cleared as an official Parks and Recreation volunteer. And she can give you all the information on how to get it done and what that includes. Okay? So-
Presumably she could answer a question. I already had a background check, but I can see if that will qualify.
No, I can tell you right now,
Oh, wow.
because if they don't share information, you may have been cleared on a certain level with whatever organization or group that was, but the city needs to see what that is, and
Okay.
that's why it has to go through.
Okay.
us. And most organizations will do that. It doesn't
Okay.
transfer over.
Got it, thank you.
Okay,
But if you don't do it, you don't get the emails. And when
That's
we were
what- yeah.
communicating, we figured this out, like, you didn't get the email and it's because you weren't background checked. So you don't know about the opportunity.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you don't.
we wouldn't
And it's
invite you,
easy.
yeah.
It's
It's not
easy.
that bad of a
I
process.
didn't invite you, I expect you to do it.
Okay.
Get your background.
Next, just a couple of, items for upcoming events. The next Family Fun Day is February 22nd, right here. And then, as you all know, the Gift Card Dinner will be March 15th. And then, right there, the next bullet point shows that the Council and Parks and Arts and Recreation Commission, joint meeting, will be tentatively March 11th.
Wait, March tenth?
I said tentatively, March 11th.
I'm sorry.
It's there, it's on your report.
Made me nervous that I missed
Tentatively.
And so I don't have a background check. Can I go to Family Fun Day or not?
Yes.
Oh, I
You
can't.
you can come as a community member
No.
to observe, to do things. You can't work
We
at
can't
it.
give you an assignment.
Oh.
of Parks and Rec, because if we give you an assignment, okay, go just help the kids with that event, and then we are doing other things, we can't allow adults to be alone with children. and
Understood.
Stuff like that, you wanna sit back.
Okay, understood. Okay. Okay, great. How long, do you know how long it takes to get a background check?
Well, it doesn't take that long to actually do it, it takes varying time for it to come back.
It's pretty.
Okay, great.
I heard about, the Lincoln Park drinking fountains.
Oh, yeah, if there's any questions on anything else, or the Lincoln Park drinking fountains are in, there's gonna be an event, I don't think they've fully been tested yet and are fully functional. But Rotary is working on getting, a nameplate of some sort, recognition plate, cut and then sent to us, and we'll fix it to that, and I don't know when they're planning their, ribbon cutting type of ceremony.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rotary did sponsor, the purchase of the fountains at least.
Oh, great.
And the city partnered with them to do the work and construction to get those in.
Thank you, Rotary. For many years coming back.
Okay, so shall we move on to any commission, subcommittee, staff, oral reports, and requests for future agenda items? So I think we may have a couple.
I have a request for a future agenda item.
And,
Naming the next art for the community center, you need a theme, so think of a theme. The theme this time was Life in Los Altos. We try to do some kind of a theme that anybody can do a painting for, and the staff does a very good job of describing what needs to be done so that the paintings come framed and they have the wire on them. So it's not a very long process to actually hang them. It only takes about 2 hours with one person. So come up with a good idea if you can. You can go look at what we have here now.
We need somebody to put it, so, you know, endorse.
For future agenda item.
Future agenda items. Yeah, thank you.
I have a future agenda item, it's not in the work plan, so maybe it's not relevant. Hold on a second.
She's gonna cough.
And it's the report that Commissioner Morris and I had for the dog park,
Yeah.
you know, with all
Oh, good.
the other.
City council
it's
wants it.
pretty much ready to go, but we need to receive it here first and then it could go.
Oh, great.
I didn't know, you know, because it's not in the work plan, but it's kind of, to me, it's kind of finishing up what we were planning to do in January that we couldn't do.
I would suggest that you prepare that for the next meeting,
Okay, yeah.
have it finalized.
That'd be great.
And then I was gonna add, if possible, the brochure So that, okay.
Well, what we'll do, since you're the chair, just as an advisory in any future chairs, what we really should do is now that this is a very concise work plan, once it's accepted by council, we'll go down in the next month that's coming up, the next 2 months that are coming up. We'll get that and see where we can fit that in upcoming agendas. So for that, that's what I have. That should be on the next one.
Okay.
Based on this, doesn't the egg hunt need to go on future
Yeah.
agenda?
Yeah.
Egg hunt, that's you.
It'll be on the next agenda.
Dog park?
No, the egg hunt,
Okay,
spring egg hunt.
it springs, like,
Do I have to wear a buddy suit?
No.
Actually, that is something.
We
that
do
can-
have one.
Yeah, we do
We
have
can
one.
work that out.
We do.
You might not fit in
That'll
it.
probably fit.
You fit.
You should fit tall.
But, so that means that before the next meeting, Commissioner Young would meet with staff and be able to come back and tell us exactly
The
what.
assignments.
Okay, okay, all right.
I can email you.
I'll send something.
Okay, any further requests for future agenda items?
I don't think it's a future agenda item, it's just kind of an announcement. I know that, and this is, I'm just aware of this
Send me
event,
an email.
that the Parks and Rec staff is putting on the community open house on March first. And, I know the park isn't planning to table there, but, you know, to the extent that, you know, you wanna go, community organizations and as well as departments, you know, the rec department, the sheriff department, Rotary may be there, we're still trying to pull ourselves together, some other organizations. So,
And they need volunteers.
Be
no, it's a bunch, they don't need volunteers, well,
Well, the staff called for volunteers. We got an email. Did your background check, because then you'll get the emails.
Okay. Do you mind, maybe sending an email to Director Herman so that he can send it to all of us with the date and time?
Well, we've
We
got
can
it.
do that.
We can do
We've
that.
got-
We'll do that
yeah.
automatically. We'll do it. It's a new, fairly new event. We've done one. We weren't even sure how well it was gonna go. And I think it did pretty well. We're unsure of this time of year, how that's gonna work out. So, and once again, it's not on the agenda or work plan or anything like that. Cause I don't know what involvement that would entail. So being a new event. So, but yeah, it is an event. What is it, March first?
March first, and I can send the flyer that
We'll
has
send the
all of the
flyer.
information.
Just so you know.
That-
The flyer tends to be focused very much so on spring registration for programs, for park and rec programs. And it's because it went to print before they decided to expand it to community groups. So I know that when I first read it, I'm like, really isn't for Rotary or any other group that I belong to, because it's focused on park and rec. But then Katie Brecker said, no, it's more expansive. We just can't edit the flyer now. But I would suggest that maybe for 2026, that's something that maybe we can table. The Parks and Rec can table, because there are a lot of families that come to that thing.
That'd go under more communities.
Yeah, not for this work plan, it's decided done deal for next.
It's a lot of different organizations, so there, it's fun. There's a lot of people there.
All right, so anything else on future agenda items? If not, we're gonna adjourn the meeting at 8:18. Thank you, everyone, great meeting.
Thank you for all your participation and
Yeah,
ideas. I'm gonna get the book.
I've heard about it, I never read it.
I never read it.
I'm on sale.
They're really